Warning! Spoilers! Warning! You know, I knew eventually I'd be facing off against a Way Forward game. I didn't know this would be my first one. Although some of you may point out that this isn't technically my first Way Forward game. Yeah, they were one of the many developers that helped out with Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. They weren't the main developers per se, but they helped out. Way Forward is one of the most well-known indie developers out there, so it makes sense that they'd help out with a project like that. Hell, this game is also with another company, Arc Systems Works. These guys are an interesting bunch, known to us here in the States mostly through Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear fighting games. These guys, however, are ones who also ported Double Dragon to the Sega Master System, which is Sega's 8-bit console for those of you who don't know. But why is that important? Well, the company that created Double Dragon also created a series of mostly Japanese exclusive games called the Kunio Kun series. Brawlers very similar to Double Dragon in many ways. Since Double Dragon was mostly seen here in the West, while Kunio Kun was a series mostly seen in the East, it could be stated that they are kind of the same series, just one built for an American audience and one built for a Japanese audience. Not that Kunio Kun didn't show up here in the West, mostly known as the River City series here. And that's where it all comes together. Yes, River City. This game is literally a part of the Kunio Kun series of games. But why did the original developers allow this game to be made? Trying to break into an American audience again? Well, kind of, but kind of not. The original developers of Double Dragon and Kunio Kun actually went bankrupt. And the ones who bought all the copyrights to the characters? That company worked on the Double Dragon port for the Master System so long ago. Arc Systems Works. So my question is, why weren't any of these characters in Cross-Tag? What the hell? Regardless, this isn't exactly like Kunio Kun games either. Rather, we're playing the female characters looking for the popular male characters such as Kunio and Ricky, rather than them looking for their girlfriends. We are doing the female protagonist thing this time around, and this is what gathered my attention. Given I do follow Way Forward anyway, but having a sillier presentation, more anime style, very stylized by the way, and badass female protagonist, I was interested from this from day one. I wasn't the only one among my friends, so yeah, I played the entire game co-op, but if you're wondering if I'll be joined in this review, not quite yet. He doesn't have his profiles in Twitch set up quite yet, but when he does, I'll be plugging his profile probably everywhere. Regardless, it is time I get to the review at this point. I'll have to search the entire city, and need be, I'll tear it down. I'm on the hunt to find my boyfriend. Let's take on River City! So, let's get one thing straight. I love the writing of this game. However, my scores aren't based on how much I actually love the writing myself. I say that because the entire script is humor. Humor is incredibly subjective, and this could cause some issues. I do feel most of the jokes land rather well, but the main joke of the game doesn't seem to hit everyone. Yeah, I'm jumping right into the end here, but the biggest joke is that the main characters, Misako and Koyoko, I'm sorry if I butcher anybody's name here, are incredibly clingy. They are in love and will do anything to get their boyfriends back, but they seem to be so in a very unhealthy manner. What's worse is at the end of the game, their so-called boyfriends don't even remember them. Yeah, as stated by a hidden boss, these two girls are so damn obscure no one remembers them at all. Only dating the boys in one 16-bit game. So, here's the issue. The reason they claim to have everyone beaten up and how powerful they actually are, because, I mean, they fight some really powerful bosses here, is through the power of love. Oops. That means the power of their clingy love is literally one-sided. So much for that power. They could have introduced really quickly the idea of their friendship being the true power of love, not even in a romantic way, although I'm sure plenty of people wouldn't mind having it go that way. But if they wanted to, they could have kept it to strictly love of friendship, and this would have landed quite a bit better. No, sadly the game ends on that joke. The guys call the girls crazy and suggest seeing their actual girlfriends, with the heroes punching the two boys out of the building, followed by credits. Still, most of the other humorous moments are funny enough. The game certainly tries to not take itself too seriously, and this is probably a good thing, given the redesigns for many of the characters from the Kunio Kun series. The humor of the rest of the game does seem to parody beat-em-up plots and plenty of other games, with the main characters questioning why everyone in their city has always been trying to fight other people, or other characters commenting on how the girls aren't exactly dressed fashionably. These jokes are quick and relatable, allowing them to either hit their mark, or at least not outlast their welcome if they miss. Hell, some of the gags are even visual. See this woman with her six-pack? She's well known for getting punched in the gut. Yeah, not only are there a ton of callbacks to the Kunio Kun series, there are actually a large amount of cameos from Double Dragons, including villains, damsels as previously mentioned, and the brothers themselves. There are also cameos from other YouTubers. Yeah, this guy here running side quests sounds like Jacksepticeye because, well, that's who voices him. There's also a few Game Grump voices here as well. There's this other YouTuber called Nate Wants to Battle, a more musically inclined YouTuber, sings the end credit song. Love your voice in Big Bad Bosses, my dude. You will be missed as the not Sephiroth of the band. But let's get into the music. This soundtrack is actually really dang good. Most of the music is sung by the voice actors of this rock character named Noise. Good singing, honestly. Speaking of which, yeah, all the characters, even shopkeepers, are voiced in this game. And it's pretty decent stuff. People more familiar with him Mike than me, for sure. Can I also mention the art style? Oh man, the art style of this game is so damn good. It has a manga feel not unlike Mad World, but this art style seems to be a mix of both Eastern and Western influence, and I adore it if I'm honest. Hell, even the characters you're beating up through the city pop out as unique designs and color palettes. Speaking of, the way you beat up people is really simple. It's a beat 'em up, right? You have a light attack that is quicker, a strong attack that stuns opponents, and a special attack. The more variations you learn, the easier it is to mess people up. While the attacks all feel similar for both characters, the variations help when things get a little frantic. You can also run, jump, and block attacks. The levels are open to exploration and backtracking if you desire. And there are some RPG elements. Yeah, weird. You can equip gear for added attack power and perks, like some health items to eat, and you gain experience and money to buy gear from beating the crap out of thugs. There are a few times platforming came about, and while awkward to make some jumps, nothing hindered us too badly. The biggest issue is depth perception. It's kind of difficult to figure out where you're at sometimes while moving on the vertical plane. There were plenty of times where we swung at foes and just flat out missed the mark. Like, yeah, we thought we were right on top of them. This doesn't make the game unplayable, but it was a constant issue. The best way to judge your location is by drop shadow. It's not perfect, but nothing else in the gameplay-wise gives us grief. As long as the level design keeps the awkward jumping and running in mind, we should be golden, right? And it actually does. Nothing was too taxing to figure out or accomplish that the game asked for on the main playthrough. We were able to find our way through each location and find the boss fight. The only enemy to give us real shit was the cheerleaders who can dodge attacks, and these Terminator wannabes who are damage sponges and can dish it out just as well. Outside of them and maybe a cop or two, nothing really stood a chance as long as we kept an eye on our health. Each location is varied enough for us to easily find our way around without too much hassle, and no set piece outstayed its welcome. The boss fights are also unique. From a kid with psychic powers to a spider fashion designer to Guitar Hero itself, none of these bosses were bad, although it was easy to take hits from Noise that seemed kind of cheap. Still, nothing gave us too much hell once we got used to the boss's patterns. That's right, old school style beat 'em up boss patterns. Great! Even the final boss, which was a challenge for sure, we still beat in one try. Oh shit. Okay, this is our second try, but a game crash doesn't count. Only time this ever happened too, strangely enough. Guess we weren't allowed to beat the final boss in one shot. However, there is an optional boss to deal with, isn't there? Before we get to that, though, let's talk about the actual side quests. Yeah, you can do side quests, and there are a few secret items you can buy to make your journey a little easier. Doing side quests for this Irish-sounding character that looks highly Japanese, you can get some gear and money for your characters. Each character has slightly different moves, and you can buy these moves to help out, depending on your level. When you beat the game, you gain 2 new playable characters, so if the gameplay and story don't get you there, maybe playing as Ricky and Kunio will. They're fun, but they start back at level 1, which is kinda rough. However, after beating the game, and if you find and break all of these statues, you can face a secret boss fight. Yeah, these girls who are seen in every level talking shit are the secret boss fights. They're unique like all the other boss fights, and they're really fun. True final challenge. First try and we destroy them. Excellent. The ending is still the same, but the boss fights are awesome in this game, so we did enjoy our campaign here. The dialogue beforehand is funny too, so there is that. Last, you can collect bad guys. Yeah, if you wreck everyone but one guy in a room, and the last foe may ask for mercy. Show it, and they'll tag along for a while for an extra attack. We rarely use these, but it is nice. You can collect them all, which only fills out a profile page for all these guys. It doesn't do anything but check a mark on the completionist list, though. It allows you to wrap up the game, I suppose? Actually, I should probably start wrapping this up myself, too. This game is really simple, but it is exactly long, making this kind of a short ride. The plot and writing are humorous, but can be very subjective due to this, causing the ending and the final joke some possible issues. The charm, however, makes up for this with fantastic art, music, YouTube cameos, Double Dragon cameos. The gameplay is simple to pick up, but more challenging to master, making the unique levels and the distinct boss fights very rewarding to play through. The secret boss fights are nice, side quests get you things that help the adventure, and beating the game gets you new characters, although not every side activity is so rewarding. Honestly, if you like this genre, I'd say you should really try River City Girls. I highly recommend it. Guessing 9 out of 10 players will absolutely love this game. However, I'm not an expert on beat-em-ups either, so what do I know? Go play the game. And that's all the time we have for this review. Next time I'll indeed be reviewing Ocarina of Time. But the next time we see Way Forward again will most likely be the Shantae series. I'm not going to necessarily hold my breath, but I do have all of the series, so eventually we'll get to that. See you all later, and stay safe out there, minions. Bye-bye.